Well, good morning. We are in June. It's the time where you start to question why you started a garden. Mainly because we've had an unprecedented little heat wave here in June. It's been in the 90s for, I think, 9 days. Yesterday was a little bit of a reprieve. It only made it into the 80s, but we're back into the 90s. This afternoon, although this morning it was 57 degrees, so I did not come out into the garden early like I should have. I actually sat on the front porch and enjoyed some cool, just sitting there, enjoyed the cool and a nice cup of coffee there. I do have to bop out to the gardens today. We don't have any events this weekend. It's our only weekend that we do not have an event the whole summer, so until November. We'll be out there at the garden. But I do need to check on the watering. A lot of watering going on out there. So speaking of watering, that's kind of what I want to talk a little bit about today. I want to give you a handful of tips on how to keep everything wet and what I do with the size of garden to keep it alive when it's dry and hot. And then it looks overwhelming too, this is what I have left. So it looks like a lot, but that's going to be, most of this is going to be going in the garden today, and I've got just a couple pots left to do. It's been pretty busy just trying to get everything done. So I'm going to soak down things a little bit more before I head out, and then when I come back, we'll talk about watering. Yeah, everything about today is warm. There's no doubt about it. We are back in the 90s, and I just got back from the gardens where we did a whole bunch of watering and took care of a few things out there. But I'm gonna give you 5 tips, 5 ideas on how you can make your watering a little easier in your garden. 5 do's. The first one, real simple, is have more than one hose. So I'm gonna turn this thing around. This is my simple setup for adding spigots to the garden. So down below, I don't know if I'll put a link there, but I had to do a water repair in a video from last year, so it's in there. But this is just irrigation, black 1-inch irrigation line in there. Put a 90-degree elbow on there, 3/4 inch galvanized pipe, a corner, turn it around, and then just a little boiler valve. And we've got a couple of those. We have 3 water spigots for the garden. I've got one down on that end, I've got this one here, and then all the way over there is the other spigot. So number 1, make sure you have more than one hose. Just makes life a lot easier. Okay, number 2, we're just gonna go right into number 2. Where are my hose? So make sure you get yourself a good nozzle. Now this is a Dram, and Dram is a Wisconsin company. These are solid aluminum, but the one thing that you want to look for, and you can have, I know there's a bunch of them that have multi-settings. All that you need, and this has, if you can read on there, it says shower and stream. So stream is obvious. Ooh, stream, and then shower. You can even do it one-handed. Shower gives you a nice little mist. The most important thing that you want to look for when you're getting a little type of nozzle is the lever action, the roller ball, the little thing that makes it go. And what's so nice about these is it is a very nice mechanism, and it's just your thumb to get it going. And you can really control, and you can see it has really nice different pressures, so you can go in there all the way up to different pressures. Real easy moving that in there. That's important when we're watering, because when we're watering, we want to get the water down on the roots. This is probably, I should have like 5 do's and a couple don'ts. 1 don't, everyone should know that you don't really want to get water on the leaves of your plants. Your vegetables don't like to have water on them, especially during the heat of the day. The little water droplets can cause burn holes, all kinds of bad stuff. You want to keep them dry. So that's one big plus. This allows you to go in and just give you nice little on and off when you're watering your plants. So another do in the watering, what I like to do is deep water. And part of that shows up on how you actually plant some of your material. So when I put these in, I try to make a saucer, and that's what's really nice about these cells. Now on this side, I already did the watering down there, and I also weed as I water. So if you just kind of keep picking at the weeds, there's not that many in here. And then I have my little garden trowel, and I pull up, because over time you lose your saucer a little bit. But what you want to be able to do is deep water these, get a lot of water, and it goes all the way down on the root. So with that cell, and here's that example of nice, easy, one touch and great control. I'm not getting any water up on the leaves of the plants, and I have the saucer around the plants, and I'm getting a really nice deep watering. So during the week, when I get up in the morning early, I can come out, I can water the whole garden like this, and it'll make it easily till I get home, because there's a really nice, good saucer, big helping of water on these plants. So the cucumber seeds are up really nice. They're looking really good. And this goes on with the do about how you plant things and make it. So if I would have left this completely flat, I'd put water on there and it would just run off. Since I planted my cucumbers and most things like this, what I call a trough or a saucer, there's plenty of room to deep water. And I'll just show you that right here. And you don't have to move it around all that much, because it just kind of fills up the whole saucer. And there you see that well-drained soil. I can fill it up, and it just pulls that water all the way down, and really gets the roots nice. All right, I think that's 3 do's so far on the watering. I'm gonna water the cucumbers on the other side and a couple things over there, and then we're gonna head over to the onions, and I'll show you that. So another one of the little do's when you're kind of designing your garden and laying things out, I have the sidewalks, and then I'm using these concrete blocks for making my little cells. And one of the things that I do where the paths go in, I leave them at a different height right here. And that's so when you're dragging hoses in and out, that it will move on that corner. It won't snag, and you can just kind of pull, and you can get your hoses. There, you can get your hoses all the way down into your cells. And then when we go over to water the tomatoes, I'll show you another method if you don't have the cells, but having something on the end to kind of catch the hose and bring it around is really helpful. So another example why it's really good to have more than one hose in the garden, and why these cells kind of help in the watering. I can do a couple of things. One, I can come and do a pretty quick shower every now and then, or since these are level, I can do kind of like the irrigation canal ditch thing, where I'm doing a super deep watering, and this water just slowly goes in there and goes all the way down and fills up, and then these things get a really deep watering. The onions right now are still pretty small. They're not that big, so I don't need to do that big of a deep watering right now. So I'll just show you what I do normally at this stage. And again, really nice to have that trigger on here. And I can do a quicker watering just to get enough water on the onions. And yes, I've said it before, onions don't like to have all that competition, so then I'll be coming back in here soon and we'll doing a little bit of weeding to get rid of those weeds. All right, now I'm going to take you over to the tomatoes and show you that other system of getting around the corners. So if you've gardened any length of time, I'm sure you've taken out a plant or two with the hose. So anything you can do to help prevent that. So this little method right there with the concrete block at different height works great. So now another example or another type, if you're not going to do the cell things, is just using some concrete forming stakes. They come in different sizes. The 3-foot ones are the best, so you can pound them down in a good 18 inches. But here they are. And you just put them at the end of your rows, and then you can just kind of drag. And just like that, you can drag your hose and you've made it all the way around and you haven't taken out any of your plants. Same thing again here, watering our tomatoes. These are our San Marzanos. I've got the little bit of a cell. Our saucer kind of built up, so not getting any water up on the plant, but I can do a nice big drink of water here at this time in this high heat. And they will, I mean, when I do this during the week and I do it in the morning, it's more than enough to get through the day. And a lot of times I won't even have to water at night because they've gotten such a nice drink of water. And I probably mentioned it, we're not getting any water up on the leaves, splashing water. Yeah, another thing, you don't want any of that splashing dirt up on your tomato plants. I've been summoned that it's beer o'clock, so we're having a reward beer early. Woo! Check that out. Life is good. Looks like a little bent paddle, little summit. All right. When we're talking about this watering, the one thing I want to show, it also allows you to multitask. I got the Thanksgiving potatoes here, and you can just see how I just let it run in there nice, and we get that really good deep watering on these guys. So that allows you to multitask, do a few other things like pull a few weeds, rake there. And I'm gonna plant, yes, it's time to plant the pumpkins. You wanna plant pumpkins in June, but last year we had 15 pumpkins. So same spot this year. Here we go. And just like that, the pumpkins are planted. All right, look who came out to brave the heat. We got Jax the garden dog. Woo! In trouble, and trouble is as trouble does. I don't know. Finn, come here, girl. Got Walter. They like to eat, yeah, don't like that. They love to eat acorns, so they're happy underneath the oak tree. Hey, Finn. The garden supervising puppies. Well, Jax the garden dog is quite the trooper. Siri says it's 93 degrees right now, so it's been warm. I think it got up to 95. A warm day in the garden, and a great topic for the garden today was watering. I am not going to try to remember all 5. I hope I did 5. I think I might have done 6. I don't know. Just tips, tricks, help to do when you're watering your garden. Who's got a little brain melt? Time for another reward beer. We did finish planting a whole bunch of more things, more flowers. You know what they are, food for the soul. Sunflowers are in, pumpkins are in, some asters, but I did put leeks in. I did some flat parsley, all pretty cool. Oh, more basil. So the don'ts, there's only like, it's not an absolute don't when you're talking about watering the garden. and that is overhead watering. Now there's going to be times where it is just the only way that you're going to do it. Large operations can't hand water everything, so they're going to be using an irrigation system that's from above, but they're also going to be doing it early in the morning, because if you remember where we talked about, you don't want to get your leaves all wet. In the heat of the day, you don't want to be broadcasting water on the top. So it's kind of, is there a best time to be watering? I'm just gonna say anytime that they need water, you better water them. Early in the morning, absolutely the best time. Water can soak in, plants can soak it up, and they're just there. If you need to water anytime during the day like I did today, it's that watering underneath and not getting it on the leaves and slow. Kind of like barbecuing, low and slow, just get it down there, let it flow. The other thing about kind of that broadcasting using the sprinklers is well, it's not a big deal to be, or maybe it is to you, wasting water, because you use a lot more water. This puts the water right where you need it. That's the more important thing. When it's dry like this, weeds don't necessarily germinate. They don't necessarily come in. If you do a little bit of hoeing, they die real fast. If you were to put the big broadcast sprinkler in here, you're going to end up with mud everywhere, so it's going to be harder to work. But you're watering all of those weeds and not the plants that you want. That's kind of the tough side of it when you do the broadcast. So it's not an absolute don't, because there's times where that's just going to be the best way and fastest way for you to get water on your garden. But hopefully it made sense. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Great day in the garden. Next weekend is a 3-wedding weekend, so we are going to be not in the garden on the weekend. I'll get up in the mornings and water, and it'll make it through the day, because it'll have to. But that's it. So thanks for joining us. You know what to do. I really do appreciate it when you give the video a thumbs up. It makes a big difference for the channel when you like the video. So please do that. If you haven't subscribed, or this is your first video, check out a few more and subscribe and follow along. At Home in the Gardens with Glenn. Take care. Enjoy.